attention. You are now tuned in to Pass the Controller.
Game on.
Round table, show me your moves. How these noobs get good and get in the groove.
Gears of war like Sonic hopping the tuck.
You don't want the smoke, you'll get bodied by big nuts.
Come for the character, stay for the content.
Fans from the elite to the civic binding.
Conventions are streamed, the topics deceased.
Tell them tune in, peace and hair grease.
Let's go, baby.
Peace and hair grease.
Pass that, pass that, pass that, pass the controller. Pass that, pass that, pass that, pass the controller. Pass that, pass that, pass that, pass the controller. Pass that, pass that, pass that, pass the controller.
What it do, people? Welcome to another episode of Pass Controller. It is July, man. Summer's almost over, man. Like, seriously, for a lot of people. For a lot of kids, man, y'all got to go back to school soon. Ain't no free time playing video games like you go. Listen, that time is over anyway, man. Like, everybody got to work. You know what I'm saying? So, listen, we know how we do it, man. We're going to enjoy the last little bit of summer that we already have, man. You already know who I am. I'm McNux, man. Of course, the saltiest gamer ever. But I got to introduce. Matter of fact, we're going to change it up, man. It's only two of us right now. Our third didn't come up yet, man. We'll see what happens. So I'm going to go to it's like the intro, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to my favorite game, which is Contra. I am Bill Reiser. I'm going to talk to my boy Lance, being the player two right here. What up, Lance? How you been, man?
Yo, what up? Yeah, that was quite the intro. Why are you the saltiest gamer ever? You don't ever seem salty.
I'm always salty, man. There's always something that's going on, man.
Is it supposed to be ironic? Because you're a pretty easygoing guy. You're not that salty.
Oh man, it's always something that goes on, man. And I just take the L every time, man. No matter what it is, man. You know what I mean? So
oh my gosh,
that's how it is, man. Yeah. But how you been, Sid? What's going on?
Good, man. Good. Yeah, just yeah, like enjoying the last bit of summer here. It's crazy because every day is like 100 degrees outside. I can't even go outside. But what better weather than to justify my gaming habit? So
exactly,
I'm in the basement cooling out. It's a nice, it's a good 71 degrees down there, just chilling out. Me and the games and a bunch of friends doing our thing, man. It's all good. That's how we're doing summer this year. So
that's the perfect scenario, man. It's like when your parents tell you got to go outside, be like, look, mom, dad, man, it's like 105 degrees outside.
Oh, yeah.
Man. Can I stay inside? You worry about my health, I might get a heat stroke, man. Then they reason with that, and you just stay in, pop the air conditioner on, man, and have like a nice bottle of whatever choice drink you want, man. Yep. With some chips and just sit in front of the TV playing. Dude, that's the best thing ever, man. So thank God for this heat wave, kind of.
never bothered me as a kid. I mean, it's weird. Like growing up around this area, like it was cool. Like I could be outside all day playing and stuff like that. But when you get older, the heat, it just crushes your soul, man. As soon as you go outside, like I'm lucky if I go out long enough to check my mail. And even then, I need to know that there's a package in there waiting for me. Because if I'm gonna walk across the street, there better be something good.
Yeah, right.
That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
Dude, I get that, man. Trust me, I don't go outside no more, man. Again, maybe it's the age, I don't know, man. But it's like, dang, I just can't stand 1 second. You're right, man. So listen, bless these kids, man.
You can just feel your health bars start to deplete.
Don't say that, man. Don't say that.
Every moment you're out there, man, it's rough.
It's like being in Death Mountain in Zelda Ocarina of Time,
right,
man. When you're in Death Mountain, you're in that heat, your HP just starts depleting, man. That's how I feel going out. Oh my God, dude.
One hit point.
Yep, exactly.
Is what it is.
Oh man, but listen, hopefully everybody's still enjoying their summer, man. Especially, like I said, you only got a couple months left before people go back to school. And even if you're in school, it still doesn't stop you from gaming, you know what I mean? So, hey, listen, it's gaming all year round, but you got to do it responsibly when you do your homework and all that kind of stuff. But that's what we're here for. We're here to kind of give you that fix a little bit, especially with video game news. And honestly, what's so funny? We came back from an amazing convention. We're going to talk about that too, Siv. We came back from Too Many Games. Shout out to Too Many Games for hosting another great event, man, over there in the Greater Philadelphia Convention Center in Oaks, PA. It was a lot of fun. Let's talk about a little bit about that, Sid, because we worked our butts off, man, and it was just a lot of fun interacting with the fans and just again just sitting back playing video games, talking with a lot of celebrities, man. Let's zone in real quick and do a little bit of recap of each day. Now, of course, Friday was the first day. Got everything set up, and Friday was. I feel like Friday was.
It was the first day for you guys. first day for me was Thursday when I
We
went
were
and
setting
trucked all
up.
our equipment out there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, but yeah,
Shout out
it's
to
all
Sid for
good.
always setting up the booth and all
Yeah,
that too.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So whenever we see our immaculate booth and all that too, that's all Civ, man. So yeah, like I said, shout out to Civ for doing
Nah,
that.
it is what it is. But it was simple to get done. It's one of the few conventions that actually lets you in like the day early to get
Which is
everything
great.
set up. So yeah, it was really nice. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was the last weekend of June. It was at the 28th through the 30th. And for those not familiar with Oaks, Pennsylvania, it's just outside like the Philadelphia metro. It's maybe like 20, 30 minutes outside Philadelphia.
Hmm.
But yeah, man, it was super fun. This is like I think this was they celebrated their 20th year this
That's
year.
right. That's right.
It's amazing. That's one of those conventions. It's just it grows every single year, and seeing it grow over time, it's amazing. Like it's the entire building now. For those not familiar, it's a multi-hall convention center, and it began many years ago with just like one part of
Hmm.
the layout. They only needed like part of one room, and now it's like it's bursting at the seams. There's so much stuff there. It's craziness, but a lot of fun. Yeah, man, it was a total blast. What did you think, man? What were some of your highlights?
It was amazing. Like I'm telling you, like each day was a highlight to me, man. And again, shout out to Too Many Games. I think that's the first, or not. I ain't gonna say that's the first, but I think they made an accomplishment. I remember they put out like a post earlier, asking every from people that were from like the 50 states. Hey, we looking for if there's nobody from the state of Alaska, we'll give you a free ticket, which is such a cool push. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? So I think they actually fulfilled their goal of getting attendee from each of the 50 states
Wow,
in the U.S. Man. So big shout
that's
out to them.
amazing.
So I mean, honestly, dude, I feel like, and before we get to the highlights each day, I feel like Too Many Games right there. And I talked about a lot of conventions, a lot of video game centric conventions, especially in the country. Of course, rest in peace to E3. We talked about like PAX that I love. I love PAX as well too. Too Many Games is pretty much right up there with PAX as far
It
as
is, yeah.
popularity, as far as attendees go. Man, I'm afraid Too Many Games might be on the cusp of maybe having to push to another venue because it's growing and growing. That they might
Yeah.
have to get like almost a coliseum like PAX is doing. And yeah, that's probably one of my I'll say top three. Yeah, I would say top five, but no, they're right there, top three video game centric conventions in the nation. I mean, it's amazing, seriously. Kudos to them for continue to build, continue to amaze us, man, with the content that they have there. Now, the each day was amazing. And by the way, chat, you can also check out the content what we did in our YouTube page on PTC Gaming Show on YouTube.com/PTC Gaming Show. Check that out as well too. We got every single panel. We got every single panel loaded up, Civ.
Uh, I think we do.
Okay, so we might have
There may have been. I think yeah. I think it's all of them because it was the Genshin Impact one,
Yep.
Resident Evil panel, the voiceover to mocap one. Um, Help me out. We had our own
Yeah,
panel that we
we
did.
had Baldur's Gate. We
And
had
Baldur's Gate. There,
Yep.
that's six. And then so we did an additional panel for the One Piece anime, but we didn't personally record that one ourselves.
Right.
But Too Many Games is going to put that one out on their own feed. But I was astonished, like the caliber of talent they had this year. The guests were amazing.
Yeah.
The audience participation was amazing. Like every single panel we had was packed. The whole room
It
was
was,
like standing room
man.
only.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah,
So
it was, and of course we see our buddy Smoke getting on in a little bit, man, because I want to discuss each and every one of these panels, man, and just the impact and honestly, this it's so much to derive from these panels. To be honest with you, the first panel that I actually want to talk about, of course, it happened Friday. You was the first panel to go up, man. Was the Resident Evil panel. Civ,
oh
first of
man.
all, you had an all-star cast up there on stage, man. How'd you felt, man? I just want to talk because I haven't really talked to you about that through the whole
Yeah,
weekend.
it's funny. So like for people that aren't familiar with the show, the behind the scenes, I guess as it were, we do talk to each other, between shows and stuff like this, but right now everybody's so busy. We
Yeah,
basically like packed up our stuff and skedaddled. You know what I mean? Like we really didn't have a chance to really decompress. Hey, Smoke, what's up? But what's really cool, like we sort of like look back and see some of like the best moments, and like starting with like the Resident Evil panel. So that was the one that we did. It was 5 o'clock that Friday night,
Yeah.
and this was the panel they were really hyping too. So we had Nick Apostolitis, Maggie Robertson, Nicole Tompkins, Stephanie Panicello, and we had a very special guest. We had Neil Newborn.
I
so
never expected
totally,
that. That was a good crash, dude.
Totally out of the blue. He just crashed us, and I was so happy to have them all. And in speaking with the five of them, and just me being like a total, horror video game, I don't know, I would say aficionado, but I'm a fanboy about it.
Yeah.
I love those games, and Resident Evil is like one of my favorite franchises. So to speak to them, and it's amazing. But people need to go online and watch it. We just had a blast. Everybody was super super cool. You learn so much stuff during these things because things inevitably come out. You'll start to think of questions in the middle, and you're like, oh my gosh, now's my chance to learn this really cool thing. And of course, the audience came up with awesome questions too. It was just a blast, man. And so we kicked it off with that. That was like, right out of the bat, Resident Evil. I was like, oh man, so much fun. So
yeah, absolutely, dude. Honestly, you and Smoke killed that panel. I was sitting back and legit. I mean, for me, I was just taking notes, man. I was legit just taking notes. It was awesome, and like I said, y'all killed it. Y'all made it so much fun, interactive, man. I mean, honestly, I did a couple panels, but the Resident Evil panel was probably far my favorite panel of the weekend. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome. Yeah.
That was by far my favorite panel. Like seriously. So, Smoke, I don't know if you had like how'd you feel? Just being up, especially talking to the Resident Evil cast, man, on Friday.
It was great. It was great. The experience of being able to meet these actors, getting their input and their insight as far as not just as actors, but voice acting and their perspective on it, and educating the audience, because for a lot of the misconception a lot of people make is when they meet these actors who voice characters, they automatically assume that they're just voice actors. And I just love the fact that we had special surprises, and not only that, but it was just like it was a pack house, it was a full house, and I love the fact that they were very much the guests. Basically, were very much into the fans there. I love the fact that the interaction and everything else, like they just didn't want the party to stop. And I love the fact that Civ, he was an amazing host and he held it down.
Yeah,
really, really good. So I mean, overall, it was great. I loved this, and Mark, you did an outstanding job too. In fact, the whole crew did. Everybody brought their A game like they always do. And it shows, and a lot more people want to know more about what we do as a show, as seeing the fact we've been around for these last almost 7 years now. So yeah, it's paid off. I think with all the podcasts, shows we've done, interviews we've done, it's been paying off. Every year for Too Many Games, it gets better and better. I can't wait till next year because of the fact that our experiences, not only just in the gaming world, but outside the gaming world, in the entertainment world, and in pop culture, I think we've made an impact as host for all these panels and for these actors, for these programmers, for all the different areas of the video game industry. I think overall it's just been great. It's been great.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't add to that, man, because that's perfectly said too. Before we get more into Too Many Games, man, of course we gotta announce a friend of the show. Always been here, man, since the first season of Pass Controller, man. First of all, we'd like to welcome back from Classic Game Junkie, man, the face of CGJ. It is Frankie. Frankie, what's going on, man?
Hi, is the mic actually working?
The mic is actually working.
Oh, shit. All right. Dude, I had to rush over here to get on this thing as quick as I could, and I pull up to the place, and there's a massive party with a carnival outside, and I have nowhere to park.
I'm
like, oh, shoot. So I had to go around the corner and pull into my secondary office and say, all right, this is what I got. I got this little headphone. I got this laptop. I said, we're going to make this work. All right, we got this.
There you go, man.
I'm getting a lot of feedback. We good?
No, we good.
Yeah,
man. You
good,
sound
man.
crispy, man. You sound crispy, clean, and let me be fresh, man, for real.
Don't get a background, though. You get this gray wall. You know?
Listen, we'll put the Great Wall. Listen, we'll put memes on it, man. We'll put something in the
in
background.
post.
You know, somebody
Fix it in
punch you in the
post.
background. You know, what I mean, we'll put that in there, man. But Frankie, good having you back, man. Seriously, how you been though, man?
Tired.
Yeah.
Everything we just got done putting our online store together, so we've been exhausted with that.
Nice.
And
Ooh, really? We're gonna talk more about, like, you know, of course, the expansion of you know, Classic Game Junkies, your accomplishments and all that too, man. Because really, like, I wouldn't know, you know, what you've been up to since the last time you was on the show. But before that, man, so Frankie, you came to Too Many Games too. You was at Too Many Games in attendance, man. Let me get your input before we go into like a little bit of recap. Let me get your input of how Too Many Games was this year for you.
absolutely massive. That show has grown to an incredible size.
Right.
There is so much going on everywhere. They got the whole building taken over at this point.
Yeah.
Like every corner you go down, they're trying to cater to every gamer and everything that associates with the word gamer, including like board games, card games, video games, you know, anything you could think of. So it literally actually does define Too Many Games now.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? You're right. I love the way to set up as well too. Before we get back to the panels, I love the way how Too Many Games had it set up, man. You know what I'm saying? Because they had one section in the back that was for, you know, of course, the voice actors and the actresses and all that, to the celebrity guests. They have another section that was dedicated to indie games, so I knew where to go, you know what I mean, to actually check out a lot of games that are, you know, down low and all that too, you know, just trying to see what they have in the market. And it was just a lot of fun. A section for, of course, the board games, the trading card game section as well too. And it was just a lot of fun. It was just a ton of fun. Organization was on point. I mean, me and Civ was actually talking. It was like it may be a point where they may have to get out of the Greater Philadelphia Convention Center, man. It's a lot. It's a lot.
You know, I'm gonna interject.
Yeah,
there.
go ahead.
They probably won't, because you have Oaks, PA, the center itself. It can expand. They have enough floor coverage where they can expand that. I highly doubt they're going to go to another area, because first off, it's at the point, it's borderline in Philadelphia, borderline in Jersey, Delaware. So a lot of people, it's easy access. Nobody wants to go down Center City. So it just makes sense for Too Many Games. And Too Many Games, it's like the hallmark. It's like the top video game event that goes on the East Coast, mainly in Pennsylvania. And like I said again, I don't see it go. I see it expanding. Yes, I do see it expanding in the building, like, you know, because it has a lot of floor. It's still like that was only just half. A lot of people don't realize that's only half of the building. I remember we had to go further back.
There's more.
I realized there was more. Yeah,
there was
I thought
wrestling
they had it
going
all.
on.
For real.
And, yeah, we were doing a couple different things. Civ and I didn't even know. And I bumped into one of the wrestlers there that was a friend of a friend, and I was like, oh damn, they got a wrestling ring further down, and they had card games, they had arcades. So the floor I think the floor setup is going to be different every year, just to expand on that. But I don't see Too Many Games going anywhere. I think they're going to stay right where they're at. It's smart. It's smart financially, and it's helping the area where you have all the hotels in close proximity. You got shopping areas and everything else. So that would be only smart on a business end to keep it where it's at. So I don't see Too Many Games going anywhere.
Yeah, now I feel you, because I'm thinking like, okay, they're pretty much going to upgrade to the Pennsylvania Convention Center real soon, and that's something like they're getting a lot of people to get. They finally accomplished getting people from each of the 50 states. You know, I remember they put a post out there giving away tickets to the first person that they needed from like Alaska or from like North Dakota or something like that, and they actually accomplished that, which was really cool. You know, so you know that's awesome. You know what I'm saying, for that accomplishment to happen.
Yeah,
so,
but they're never going to move it down Philadelphia, Center City. So you can forget that. It's too much. No, I mean, I'm just being.
No, I get that. I get
being
that.
totally honest, because it's just too much going on in the city now. Where a lot of people, it's more of a tourist thing down Center City versus you want to go somewhere where easy parking. And think about the parking. You have you just brought up the fact that all these different people from all these different states. Why would you want to go somewhere? Can you imagine if when you get there in the morning for too many games, you arrive at maybe 9:30 right before opening. The parking lots are already filling up.
Yeah.
Okay, and packed. Then some. You still have them far in the back. So imagine you do that down Center City.
Yeah, you can't.
Nightmare.
It'll be a nightmare.
It'd be
all these outer towners
nightmare.
Really want to go into the actual city.
Frankie, they would have to pay an average of like $36 parking right across the street, man. You know what I'm saying? That parking lot. Mm-hmm. So
I avoid the city at all costs.
Yeah,
like, really, you know.
So that's you know, right there, Oaks, man. It's a key location for too many games, and I hope it doesn't move really, but it's getting so bigger each and every year, man. And like I said, just the content itself. We were just talking about before you came in here, Frankie. We're just talking about the panels that we've done. You know, Smoke and Civ did an amazing job with the Resident Evil panel, man. That I probably again was my favorite panel watching. You know, and I did panels myself that weekend. You know, that Friday. A shout out to Some Call Me Johnny real quick, man, because Some Call Me Johnny, and then we became like real good friends, man, after that panel ran itself. Let me tell you real quick, that panel ran itself. I was like, oh my God, this is less work with me. I was cracking up the whole panel, like the antics of Some Call Me Johnny. For chat, if you don't know who Some Call Me Johnny is, man, probably one of the biggest content creators out there on YouTube as well, man. Check him out. He and his group of Super Gaming Brothers, man, ran the show. Light work on me because I was up there just cracking up and just having a ball with the panel. I felt like part of Super Gaming Brothers, man, because it was like the way these guys banter back and forth was amazing. I loved that panel, man, and it was just so much fun. So definitely check out. We had the hopefully you have the video on YouTube. If we don't, we'll probably put that up later on as well too. And then of course that Friday we also had our own or flagship panel as well too. And it was a lot of fun, man. And like I said, interacting with a lot of the, some of the people that were fans of the show. Had a great time. And again, that was just amazing. Friday was probably
go ahead. I just want to do a shout out. I mean, I know we've been talking, and there's a couple things, two things I want to bring up. First off, shout out to Civ on a straight up tip for a couple different reasons. Not only because he set up, and like you brought up earlier, Civ is like our mouthpiece when he is at too many games. He speaks on our behalf a lot of times, and for a lot of different reasons. Civ knows why, but I really got to give a shout out to him because he really, every year when we put this together, Civ has always been our front guy to like take it on and everything else. We just follow in suit, and we bring our elements. We bring all our A games, but Civ has always been the mouthpiece for passive controller for too many games, and he's been our go-between. So I got to give a shout out to Civ on that. Shout out to also our photographers for PTC, which is Lamont and Nate. Without them, we wouldn't have the coverage and the photos that we've been getting, and we're still got more photos coming. And also shout out to Civ again for being my partner in crime for Helldivers, because we brought our Helldiving cosplays.
That was a highlight
to the forefront. Not only that, Arrowhead and the Helldiver game, Helldivers game producers love our stuff. And they've been posting our stuff throughout social media. So I got to give a shout out to Civ on that. I just had to give it.
Civ was working his butt off, man.
As much as I always appreciate that, and I thank you for that. First of all, it never feels like work. You know, when they say. Right. When you do something you love, you never work a day, right? Yep. I mean, but this is case in point. This is stuff that, even though effort goes into it, it never feels like it's a chore. And it's a two-way street, because dealing with the people at too many games and some of these conventions, this is what they do too. These are passion projects, and they've always been very accommodating with us. Any place we've ever gone to that we've made some inroads in and things like this, and had the opportunity to really understand, like business owners and shop owners and convention runners, and it's always cool because it's like, hey, we're genuinely interested in what it is that you do and are always there to sort of help out, which kind of parlays into my next topic here with regard to Frankie. I mean, Frankie's blowing up all over the place too. So have two. Tell us now. So you have two physical locations, right? You have Lansdale, Pennsylvania, and I always forget the other one. What's it? The original, the
Glenside,
yep.
That's it. Yeah, Glenside. I always forget the name. Okay, so those two, and now you have the online store. So anybody that hasn't been to those places, they're just like some of the best, like, family-run video game stores ever. It's just the best.
Well, Frankie's the best kept secret. They just don't realize. Frankie's always been the best kept secret.
You
Frankie
see a
knows
lot
I'm
of these
hey,
places
hey,
like
listen,
GameStop and
hey,
whatever,
listen,
and they're these big box stores that they're sort of like
Big can my head
neglecting
get.
gamers. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's good that you have like shops that are like still holding it down. Like you got Amazon, you got GameStop, but then you have like the real like gamers experience. Like if you're a real gamer, you're gonna go to these places, you're gonna get taken care of. So it's always cool to see them. So
I want to interject too, man, because Frankie, I want please, I hope your store, if they can hold these 2 games for me, man, I want it so bad as far as collections go. I have to. These 2 games are Dot Hack Volume 4, Quarantine, right? And the other one is Xenosaga Episode 3. Those are the 2 most hard games to get. I know you have them. Please hold them for me. I gotta get them, cuz seriously.
I'll peek when I go back.
I gotta get that, man, for real, yo. But seriously, man. But
Dot Hack was the game you were scoping 2 years ago?
Yeah, and remember,
you've been on that forever, man. I remember that.
Man, forever, dude, forever. But yeah, I know, Sid, you had some other stuff that you want to talk to Frankie about, man, as far as the video game industry goes. I don't know if you want to kick it off.
Yeah, it's just weird times. I mean, one of the things Frankie and I were talking about a little bit offline recently when he was getting his online store together, was just kind of like what's going on now, like in the industry, so far as like this whole thing that everything has to be moving towards digital only. Like, I'm a game collector. I think most of us here are, right? I mean, we collect, we play video games. We also collect video games. We like to have a physical copy, things like this. And I know we've kind of touched on this subject on past episodes, but now I want to talk to somebody who's like, their business model is predicated upon like the future of gaming and having it be available in a tangible sort of, product. Like, has this affected you at all, Frankie? What do you see in the future of this? Is it a concern? Does it make your product more valuable? Like, give us what the thought process is from your angle.
It's both. You're getting it at both ends. The newer stuff, yeah, a lot of people are going the digital route with the newer stuff, but there are still a very strong group of collectors out there. There's people who still want to own things. I mean, it's a fact. A lot of you guys, I know Smoke goes out of his way all the time. He's like, I want a physical copy. I want a physical copy. Yep. But if I can, I'll get that digital copy, is what he always tells me, if you get stuck enough. But what you are seeing is new games are almost an entirely new industry by themselves, separate from the old games. It's almost like a whole new ball game. People who are playing video games are playing one type of game, and people who want to play, it's really hard to differentiate. It's kind of complicated. Every time you go online now, you want to sign you in. They want a credit card. That's the first thing you're asking for. You make an account. You can't just play the game. It's an investment. It's a time investment and a money investment. It's like a community investment. Whereas sometimes you just want to play a game. You don't even want to think about none of that stuff. And a lot of the games today are built around just sucking you in and keeping you there. And that's okay to a certain point if that's what you're looking for. Like Helldivers, that's awesome. I mean, truly, I love it. But at the same time, I just want to pop something in and play in like 2 seconds. Like I had a guy call me on the phone in the store the other day. He's like, hey, I don't play too much, but I hooked up my Xbox One yesterday and I played a game of Call of Duty. And today I turned it back on and it says I got to wait 90 minutes to play another game of Call of Duty, but I only got an hour to play. What can I do? I'm just like, man, they update that game every other day. I don't know what to tell you, man. He goes, well, that sucks. I'm just like, that's just what you got today. That's just the way it goes, And he goes, man, I'm gonna just play Nintendo. Just like, hey, I know a place you can go. You know what I mean? But we've been cut out of most of the new game industry, and that's a fact. But the more people get disenfranchised, the more people are coming in looking to relive that part of their childhood where they could just play a damn game. So it's still, like I said, it's helped and hurt. The old stuff's bigger than it ever was, and the new stuff's less of a market driver for us. Although we do fix everybody's crap, so that's important.
Well, I think the biggest problem is also some of these companies like Black Wind Wukong. I was just talking to the guys about this, like they are coming out with just the digital only version of it for right now, because I guess just like Sifu, they want to test the waters to see how well it does. They did the same thing with Alan Wake 2, and I think that like I was so hemmed up about it, I had to go buy the actual box and the disc, overseas, just to own like a physical, in case they ever decide to come out with it. But if they don't, at least I can say, well, I got a physical replica of it. But I believe in the idea. I've always stated this. I've always believed in the idea of physical copies. I'm an old school gamer, so I believe in the idea of ownership. I don't believe in the idea of a company telling me, "Well, you no longer own this." Yeah, you own it because you gave us your money, but now we can decide when we want to just cut it off completely and not have you have any control. I like to have control of something that I own, and if you don't give me that, unfortunately, the way the world is right now, it's all about companies making money. They just did a big art. They just did a big thing on YouTube about it, where they talked about how like the industry has changed so much. Where before you had games and quality of games that would come out, they would put their heart and soul into it. Now it's more or less like quick money grabs and quick fixes, and it's sad because that's the direction we're going. Where before it was about quality of the game, it was about putting that time and love into the game. These companies now, unfortunately, they got to look at the bottom dollar, and unfortunately, a lot of these creators, the game producers, and all are getting let go, laid off because they're not making the bottom dollar, and it is a vicious cycle. And then when the games come out, like they're charging you extremely. Now they're trying this new thing now, this new model where in order for you to play this certain game that they know they're going to make money regardless, you get to play it 2 days early, but you got to pay an extra $20-$30. Now I got sucked into it in the past, Suicide Squad being one of those games, owning the physical and a digital copy of it. And again, but you look what the quality was, look at what happened. And so it ends up being really a vicious pattern. It's becoming a vicious pattern. So again, I get really disappointed in how the gaming industry has been lately.
Yeah.
And then people wonder why they're getting modded games and they're getting their own systems and stuff. And sometimes people look down and frown on it. I'm like, look, it is what it is. It's the way of the world right now.
Frankie just got booted. He lost power, so he's having to reboot his router. He'll be back on
All right, so
as
he'll
soon
be
as he
back
can. He also said, "Screw you guys, I'm going home." And just hung up. But nah, Smoke is 100% right. And I'll tell you what, I have a theory as to when this all started because I seem to remember right around the time when I was in high school is when like audio stream or not streaming, but like torrents and digital downloads and Napster and all that, LimeWire, BearShare, all that stuff. Everybody was basically ripping CDs, making MP3s, sharing them, and not even selling them. They were just putting it all out there for anybody to have. And of course, the music industry and later the video entertainment industry got really mad about this and said, "Hey, you can't just steal our stuff and just give it away for free. That's illegal." But then they all took note and they all said, "Hey, but if we do it, we don't have to make CDs anymore. We don't have to make DVDs. We don't have to manufacture. We don't have to ship. We don't have to like pay big box stores to like house our product, So basically, it's just the price of digital distribution. And now we're living in this current era where, you can't own anything, nothing. You don't own, I had an argument with somebody recently online. I'll get to that in a second, but it's funny because nowadays it's like if I want to own a TV show I really liked, like, okay, Stranger Things, seasons 1 and 2 came out on Blu-ray because they had an exclusive deal. Netflix, they had a deal with Target.
Right.
They put them out on Blu-ray, and it was super cool. And even the Blu-rays themselves, the box sets looked like a VHS tape. It was really neat. I was like, oh man, I can't wait until season 3, and then I'll get season 4 and 5. And then all of a sudden they stopped. The deal must have run out, and now they don't put them out because Netflix is like, why are we even doing this? Like, we want them to subscribe to Netflix. Like, we're not going to just like put this on digital media. It's stupid. We're shooting ourselves in the foot. So nowadays, like I said, I had an argument with somebody online the other day. They're real cocky. This was an IT person, so of course they profess to know everything. And I don't mean insult IT people; they do a good service.
I'll say thank you, man. I want to say, man, listen, we aren't the same.
No, I know, but he's like, you're an IT guy though, like unplug your router, plug it back in guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, I made a comment. I said, yeah, it's a shame, the days of owning, digital media and video games, stuff like that, especially video games, it seems to be going out the door. It's so tough. And this guy was real snarky. He was like, well, you never really owned your video games. Like,
What?
that's not true. He goes, well, there's an end user license agreement with like every game, and there's software licensing. And I go, wait, no. So it
That's
seems
a load of BS. Yeah.
it's hyperbole. I go, no, you're confusing what an end user license agreement is with ownership.
Mm-hmm.
You still can own something with the presence of an end user license agreement. The difference being that, someday these games are, especially like live service games, they can go offline and you're
Mm-hmm.
no longer able to play them. They're not
Exactly.
serviceable anymore.
Right.
That's different. I said, I can sure as hell tell you, my copy of Super Mario Brothers from 1985, I very much really actually own it.
Mm-hmm.
It's mine. I can play it whenever I want. If I want to sell it, I can sell it legally. If somebody breaks in my house and steals it, I can report it to the police. I can claim it on my homeowner's insurance.
Yeah.
I own the thing.
Exactly.
I have a receipt. I said the difference now is that the ownership has limitations. It's a limited ownership.
Yeah.
Now, I know we're going like down a rabbit hole here. It's minutia, but my point being is like it sucks that like if I love a game enough, uh, it may very much go away someday. Like that's the problem with your backlog now too. You might
Mm-hmm.
have a ton of digital games and you're sitting there going, "Damn, I better start playing these because
Yeah.
honestly, like they might just go away someday, and
And cut it.
then
Yeah.
then you're screwed." What's the solution? I don't know.
And that's the thing too to think about. And you're right. You're right on the point, man. Where you do got to pay attention to what you have, and does it consist of owning certain games? I look at my list that I have on, especially like the Epic Games app. I have tons of games. I have tons of games on the GOG for free. Is it free? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
is it to the
Yeah.
point where it's free? Quotations, because a lot of people are like, oh yeah, like, but again, those servers could be over with, where it's like, man, I had 200 games on Epic, man, that were free,
Yeah.
but now I can't play them no more, man. So yeah, you're right. It's there's a limitation, man, when it comes to that, but that's one of the benefits of physical copies, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
for sure. And I want to ask Frankie when he gets back, when he has his power back on, is does he fear of a time where, and it's going to happen, and we talked about this in a previous episode, man, does he fear of a time when this change of the industry is going to shift to only digital, because they're testing the waters
Yeah.
out right now, putting out other hardware like the like PS digital only, Xbox digital only. They don't have to.
Well,
They-
the PlayStation one. All right, you're making a fair point. I see what you're saying. I think that's all fine because at least they are video game developers. What really gets me is when you have companies like Microsoft that now is pairing up with Amazon, right?
Mhm.
They're going to do that virtual Xbox thing where you don't now, not only do you not own the software, now you don't even own the hardware.
Yeah.
Now basically it's like you don't even have a box. Like they're just everything is going to be streaming.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so not cool with that. That's like, I'm against that for about 50 different reasons. And somebody asked me like one time, they're like, "Hey, what would ever get you to quit video gaming?" And I said, "Well, I can tell you like someday when everything is live service and live streaming and subscription based, I said most likely that's the point where I'm probably not going to buy too many new games. I'm just
Yeah.
going to play what I have. I'm not going to go down that road. I'm sorry. Like for a lot of us that are like older, like I'm an older gamer, Smoke's an older gamer. Like we're just used to a certain kind of thing, and like I can accept a lot of different changes and improvements and innovations and modernizations. But what I can't take is spending money on something and having nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
Like I just can't rent in perpetuity. It doesn't feel right to me. I can't do it. So,
But when it comes to the populace, man, that is now going to adjust, does that make you adjust to that? You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, dude, yeah, I get it too. I get it for sure. Yeah, we don't want to go into that digital market all the time. We don't want to go to that streaming market all the time, man. It's not fair. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you want to show some for it. And majority of people, if we put out a poll right now, majority will agree with you. But when there's a time when the populace finally adjust, will that make you adjust to that route?
it would take a lot. First of all, it would take
Eventually. I'm sorry.
I have a decent internet service here, so I mean, infrastructurally speaking, like I have the ability, I could do it, but I don't know. It depends. I'll tell you this. Okay, if it's a live service game that it's multiplayer and you have to play it online. Awesome. Okay, I have no problem really. I guess if that's really what we're gonna do. If we're gonna play, you know, Call of Duty and there's 50 people, all right, I guess that substantiates it. But if it's like I want to just like play some Pac-Man, single player game, you telling me I have to go through a live subscription based service?
You have
play
to.
That?
It's going to go to that. Y'all going to have it. I love this conversation. Y'all want to go.
I hate this conversation. Actually, I'm ready to.
Y'all want to
I'm
go.
sorry I brought it up.
Listen.
It makes me mad.
Because honestly, it's going to be to a point where you're going to have to subscribe to a service to play Helldivers 8. You and Smoke, you know what I'm saying? You're going to have to subscribe to a service to play Metal Gear 10. You and Smoke, you're going to have to subscribe to a service to play your favorite franchise games. You're going to have to. It's eventually it's going to be inevitable where you're going to have to march along the path, the road with majority of us that's going to succumb to it, man. It's like it's forced. In a sense, it's forced video game slavery. We're going to be forced into it. We have no choice. You can't say no.
There's no such thing of that.
There is such thing. It's forced video game slavery.
Okay, Kanye.
But you know what I'm saying though. You want to play your favorite video game franchises to the point where eventually, in that time, who knows when it's going to come, man, next decade or so, that we're going to be forced into that. I'm going to be forced. That's why I'm getting so used to playing like my favorite franchise being Sonic. Now in the streaming service, man, I will get certain Sonic physical copies if they don't have like certain like busts, like the new Sonic and Shadow. For instance, the new Sonic Shadow Generations, the deluxe had the bust of Shadow. I want that. The Sonic Mania beforehand, I had to get that, the collector's edition because they had the bust of Sonic standing on top of the Sega Genesis. There's gonna be to a point where that's gonna not matter at all, and we have to get used to it. It sucks. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have.
I didn't like
Speak
it
for yourself. I'm going to own.
But you're going to have to merge to it, Smoke. You're going to have to merge to it. You're going to be forced. It's forced. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's how
all
it is.
I can say is, all I'm going to say is one word, and it's a long word. Arrgh. That's all I'm going to say.
Piracy.
I don't know. No, you said it. I didn't say anything. I just said arg. I have no idea what you mean. What is that word? I have no idea what that means.
We're gonna be the new age. We're gonna have to bootleg all of our games, man. It's just like
I don't know what you're talking about.
When it begs the question, when did game ownership stop? Because some people have argued that it already has. Like, you don't own your games. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I am very closely monitoring what happens with my PS3. I always turn it on and I check, because I know that the first thing it does when it goes online is it checks the status of your PlayStation Plus subscription, or it checks to make sure that your account is in good standing, and then you still retain those licenses for those digital games. Now, if I got those games through PS Plus and I let my subscription lapse, I don't pay for it, and all of a sudden I would expect they would no longer be playable. But for the games that I did pay for, I would hope that like someday when they finally take the PS3 offline, they say, hey, like all the PS3 servers are going down. I hope that they kind of give you sort of a grandfathered in, like, I don't know how to describe it, but something in your system that says, hey, it's going down, but all your games are still technically playable. You can still
hopefully.
play it. You can't play it online. That's done. No more updates.
Right.
Maybe not even trophy support. Maybe the whole thing is offline, but you can play it. Like, of course, like with the disc-based game, you're good. You can go. I mean, that's gonna still work. If I want to play Metal Gear Solid 4 on PS3, it's gonna work. I have faith in that. Hopefully. I mean, I would. I mean, maybe unless there's something mega nefarious going on behind the scenes where all of a sudden they're going to simply say, oh no, it's done. And the reason I'm bringing up the PS3 as the example is because that's really like the very first generation of like online consoles. Yeah, I mean the PS2 and of course like PC games, they've been online longer and all that, but the PS2 was different because like it didn't have a lot of titles. It just had like it was just like a subscription conduit to play like games like the bigger Final Fantasy games, things like that.
Right,
so that's not a fair comparison. But I'm telling you, PS3, Xbox 360, keep a lookout because someday it's gonna go awry.
Yeah, you're right. Chat's on fire right now, man. Donnie on the Twitch side, man, says bring back torrent files. Yeah, I listen. I'll agree with you on that one too. Raymond, sorry, go ahead.
Hey, we should talk. Wink, wink, because they have not really gone away.
true. In a sense, you just got to know where to look. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Just be creative.
Yeah, I digress. Raymond on Facebook. Raymond on Facebook actually says to have it, I think it's okay if it's where it's going, but to force us to, I don't think it's right. Give people options. Not everyone will be able to afford extra service.
There.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay. To clarify my mess. Okay. So you said, what will they do if they force us towards it?
Right.
If they spring it on us and they're like, hey, this is the thing we're doing. It's the only way we're going to be able to do it. Then I'd be very upset. But if it's like, okay, you have a choice. You can do this, or you can get, permanent digital download, or you can do physical copy, or you can, okay, great. I'm happy with that. That's totally fine. But what I'm not going to do is stand in my own living room like it's my own freaking arcade and have to continually put quarters into a freaking machine so I can play for a couple more hours here and there. That's not happening. I'm not doing that. They are not going to have a conduit directly into my wallet. It's bad enough as it is. They basically kind of do already, but there is a bridge too far for me. I do have a breaking point. I hate to say it. That's probably going to be it. I'm not linking my credit card to play a single player game. Yeah, nah, man. No. Nah.
Oh man.
How about you, Smoke? You
yeah.
down with that? You hear what I'm saying? Like, because we're a similar age. Do you kind of see where I'm at with this?
Yep, 100%.
Okay.
100%.
So I'm not crazy.
No, you're not.
All right.
And again, we come from a different. We're cut from a different mindset. As far as what people don't realize, and so I will never. I will never bend the knee. I'll just say it like that. I would never bend the knee.
I'm sorry. Hold on, guys. So Frankie was on earlier. I'm sorry. He's like messaging me.
Yeah.
I got to read this chat to you because it's just hilarious.
Go ahead.
Give me just a second here. He goes, electric went out. LOL. Wow. Oh, just came on. Got to reboot modem. What a day. LOL. And it's off again. Welp. No electricity here, goddammit. And his last message to me is, the foam machine knocked out the power.
The foam machine? What?
I got so many questions. The foam machine.
The foam machine?
Foam.
Like foam, like the white foam.
Like you're at a rave or something. Foam.
The foam machine?
The foam. I don't. When he
what,
gets back on, I gotta ask.
Yeah, we gotta ask about that, man. Regardless, I don't know what's going on, man.
Anyway, I digress. But
quick, what's a good question from chat, man? Razel24 on Twitch, man, asked, any thoughts on the Stop Killing Games movement? I looked that up too, man. There is actually a petition of Stop Killing Games, man. If you look up stopkillinggames.com, it's to talk about, here's what it is, real quick, man. It's actually what we're talking about. It says the site is dedicated to real world action on ending the practice of publishers destroying video games they have sold to customers. An increased number of video games are sold as goods, but designed to be completely unplayable for everyone as soon as support ends. The legality of this practice is untested worldwide, and many governments do not have a clear laws regarding these actions. It is our goal to have authorities examine this behavior and hopefully end it. And it is an assault on both consumer rights and preservation of media. And of course, they talk about how they're pursuing in some ways that they can stop this action of publishers ending service on certain games, man. Because I guess that, yeah, you know what? In that sense, you can take a look at the site too as well. I never thought about that too. So thank you, Razel, for actually putting that to our attention. I never thought about that, man. Like it's like. Is there like a legality thing, man, as far as we can actually, give attention to the government, saying like, this is something that has to finish, man, or has to stop. That's interesting. I gotta look more into that, man.
It is. I mean, there is going to be a point where there's going to be antitrust suits. I mean, because let's put it this way. I think the real downfall of the industry is partially because, like, when you log onto a video game, they have pages and pages of legal stuff, and then at the bottom you say decline or accept.
Or accept, yeah.
Okay, listen, I'm going to tell you. You buy a video game for a 9-year-old, they're not reading all that.
No.
They're not consenting adults. They're not legally bound to be able to, cogently sign and respectfully sign legal documents. So you're telling me that you're going to go back to that same person and go, oh yeah, we had every right to, take away your video game. You didn't know that you signed away that right. It's going to come a time where there's going to be a major court battle over this. I see it happening.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different movements within the industry that are mimicking this. People are so tired of getting dicked around with. It's the biggest It's the biggest industry on the planet. You know that? Video game industry. In the entertainment world, it's bigger than concerts and music and TV and books and magazines and everything else. All those things put together does not equal the revenue that every single year the video game industry generates. Now, think about that. You go to you see Wolverine this weekend. It's going to make $300 million box office its first.
That's a great movie too. Yeah.
Okay, but still, it's dropping the bucket when it comes to the video game industry. The video game industry buries everything.
Facts.
And yet, it's still largely deregulated. Everybody's acting a fool, which is why I'm very happy that there's unionization. That's why I'm very happy right now that SAG-AFTRA is striking right now. I'm very happy that people want their piece of the pie. There's a lot of money out there. But back to the contract thing.
Yeah.
So funny thing is, like, we have to sign away all rights, even though we're the ones that are putting the money out for it.
Yeah.
We're paying the money. Where is their commitment to us?
Nah, man.
But it seems to be a very one-way street. It's not a very. There's not a lot of reciprocity going on here. It seems like gamers are taking all the risk, and they get to just pocket more money. That's my problem.
Hence why I say we are in video game slavery, man. This is hence why we are in video game slavery to this point.
We're in the Matrix, man. We're in the Matrix. In the video game Matrix, man.
Yeah, we are signing away our lives, man, that what we can't own.
And Mark is one of the Smiths, man.
Nah, it's just interesting in the world that we live in, man. It's just so interesting how we enjoy this media, but we are shackled when it comes to what we can have and not have, you know what I'm saying? And I hate using that term, you know what I'm saying? But it's just how it is. You know, we don't, dude, remember PT? I mean, like, listen, all of us enjoy PT, you know what I'm saying? Where's that now? You know, we can't play that no more, you know what I mean? What happened to people that had the demos? They took that away. Can't have that no more? Like, what's up with that?
It's all this legalese, and it never, ever, ever, ever benefits the end user and the buyer, ever. So there needs to be some advocacy. So stop killing games. I'm all about it. I just signed up for it.
I'm about to sign up too,
recommending for it because I think it's worthwhile. I'll tell you, and we talked about this in Too Many Games during our panel. So one of the things that really annoys me about Nintendo, and specifically, is that they kill their games all the time.
Yeah.
They do nothing to protect. They want to protect their IPs, but they don't really ever like archive their games and make them available for people. So even if I have the money, even if I'm like, hey, Mr. Nintendo, I got this money, I want to play Excite Bike for the NES. I want to play that now, through the virtual store. They're not available. Well, what's your alternative? What are you going to go online and look for a copy of that thing and then buy, a Nintendo Entertainment Center and all the system and all the hardware and all? No, man. You know what you're going to do? You're going to find some alternative means to play that game. Look, they're shooting themselves in the foot. You have people that are willing to buy this stuff, even if it is just digital.
Yeah.
But they don't do anything for that. Like, there is a market out there for this. I'm just kind of unsure about like what their business model is about sometimes. So, like, look, but you can't be mad at people that like take these like unsavory approaches to finding games to play. Meanwhile, you don't give them a legal means by which to access that content. Lots of industries do this. It's not just gaming industry, but the gaming industry is the worst of all of them.
Yeah.
Like, I can look for a book. I can find a book to read anywhere. Old book, I can figure it out.
Right.
TV shows, yeah, you can find it. It's out there. It's streaming or it's public access or public domain or whatever. You can find it. But man, video games, again, largely deregulated, so you don't, you have corporations making the rules, and that to me is something someday that's going to have to change to at least some degree. Let's come to a consensus. Let's just start hearing the gamers out a little bit. But yeah, so again, that website, I'm going to hype these guys because
absolutely,
whoever brought that up in the chat, that's awesome. So stopkillinggames.us, I think. If you Google "stop killing games," you'll find it for that.
Yep.
I'm all about it.
We can definitely bring that attention to our past controller site for sure, man. They raise much love about that.
Yeah, I'll post it up tomorrow. Yeah, thank you for whoever suggested that.
Yeah,
cool.
Absolutely. So now, on a lighter note, well, not on really on a lighter note, man. Actually, we're gonna do in the same line of what we're talking about as far as video game industries, pros and cons. We know, like you mentioned earlier too, Civ, about the SAG-AFTRA strike. Matter of fact, Smoke was the one that brought us attention to us in the chat. We talked about that before the show.
Yep.
But now we seeing now the development of video game actors being on strike, and here's why. This is coming from AP News. You can check it out yourself as well too. They're saying that Hollywood's video game performers went on strike this past Friday, after negotiation with video game industry giants that began more than a year and a half ago came to a halt over AI protections. Here's the thing. They say that game voice actors and motion capture artists' likenesses could be replicated by AI and used without their consent and without fair compensation. The union says that regulated uses of AI poses an equal or even greater threat to performers in the video game industry than it does in film and television, because the capacity to cheaply and easily create convincing digital replicas of performers' voices is widely available. It's half and half. I want to talk about real quick because I want to pass the story. Here's half and half. I understand a lot of companies want to do this in a sense because it's cheap. You know what I'm saying? Especially in this economy that we live in. If you think about yourself in the shoes of these developers, you want to go to the cheapest route to make the biggest profit, correct? The use of AI, even though it's dirty, but and you can say that there's nothing illegal about it, there is still a wrong, as far as like a wrong intentions, put it that way. I don't know how to, lack of a better term, think about like, I wish this news would have been, out earlier as well too, to talk about this with, the actors and actresses at Too Many Games.
Yeah.
Because you think about their work, what I'm saying? Think about, the motion capture artists, what I'm saying? All the mocap artists, all the VAs, the voiceover work and all that everybody does, and how well they do it, to be completely incompensated by AI, that is a shame. It's like fair to me. I equate that to, for me being a part of a union, what I'm saying? It's like giving the job to somebody that's non-union. We call them scabs. Giving it to non-union workers who are not fully trained like us, and y'all guys are union too, like, actors and, so giving somebody that doesn't know or is not trained well, even though it's cheap labor in a sense, what I mean? Like, hey, economy's bad. I get that. Economy is horrible. But to give the work to cheap labor or to give the work to cheap programming, like AI, this is such BS. Wow, I don't know how y'all feel about that. I want y'all to go off on that one. How y'all feel about this, man?
I'm going to say my part real quick, and then I'll hand it over to Smoke, because I think he's more qualified to speak on this from his perspective. But I will say one thing. I don't work for a union. My job is non-unionized. But both of my parents worked in a union, and I saw how they were continually, jerked around, and the only recourse they had was to be in that union, because if given, left to their own devices, they wouldn't have been paid fair, they wouldn't have been compensated, they wouldn't have medical coverage, they wouldn't have time off, nothing.
Right.
So you said something, and I'm like, okay, partially true. You're like, oh, it's cheaper to go AI and everything like this. And I'm like, it's cheaper, but it's also way more lucrative from, the capitalist standpoint.
Yeah.
If I'm a CEO of a company, hey, you want to understand why the economy is what it is. First of all, understand, and you can go back to a South Park episode to explain this in a way that's better than I can do. But the whole thing, the economy is a man-made thing. It's a man-made thing. Economics, finance, money, the concept of money.
Yeah.
We created this. This is man-made. So you're telling me all of a sudden it's a man-made problem that affects like 90% of the world. You got your top 10%, probably don't have to worry about money very much. Everybody else does. Now, why do you think that might be the case? Who makes the rules?
Yeah.
Who's at the top of the food chain? And the same thing applies to a video game company. Because you have people at the top of the pyramid who are making a lot of money. Guys have golden parachutes. They have absolutely no problem getting, laying off their staff. Like this year, we've experienced over 12,000 industry layoffs.
Yeah.
We've had companies close. We've had all kinds of stuff. They're downsizing what you get, and now they want to cut an additional corner to put more money in their pockets, and it's at the expense of people who are creating these games. So if you're a developer, if you're an actor, if you're a writer, your ass is on the line unless you're not properly represented.
Right.
And it's all fun and games till they come for your job, and they will. Someday it'll be you.
Yeah.
You know how I know? Because it was me recently. I work at a job where I'm a full-time paid classically trained writer. I'm a writer by trade. I
Yeah.
write.
Yep.
And I had somebody within our company go, Brian, they don't call me Civic in my other job, which they would. Hey, Brian, would it make your job easier or go faster if we were to maybe implement AI in your writing process?
How about
like,
that? Wish they could chat GPT, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But I was like, listen, I'm going to tell you, if this conversation goes the way I think it might, you can have my resignation right now. We will not use AI. I said, should we continue the conversation? Because I'm out the door. I'm not going to have my job taken away, because that's where this starts.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, no, we just want to make it easier. I go, no. You want to make things faster and more profitable for you at the expense of me doing an exceptional job for you. You would rather have a less than perfect job done by a computer as opposed to a living, breathing human being who's exceptionally good at what it is he does. So now you make the choice. And right now, it's not open for debate.
Yeah.
I'm not using AI. I will not have my job taken away by AI. So I said, are we still talking? Is this conversation over? And they said, yeah, we think it's probably over. So you're doing a great job. So thank you. That was it. They didn't bring it up again.
There you go.
I'm like, I'm not having it. I'm just not doing it. There's so many freaking reasons. Anyway, I digress, but I'm more interested in what Smoke has to say.
Yes.
When you're talking about people that are actors and writers in this, I mean, he knows more than go. From an actor's standpoint, how pissed
Smoke,
would
how
you
you feel
be if
about
all of a
this,
sudden
man?
computer all of a sudden steps in and goes, hey, we're going to be Eric Moran now.
You know, I'm pissed, but you know, it's funny. I won't. There's a friend of ours, or a friend of mine, who is heavily in the industry. I bumped into, I say, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I noticed their demeanor was so. They're normally upbeat, very, very upbeat, and I noticed, I was like, you know, everything all right, and they were telling me there's a lot of S going on in the industry right now.
I know who you're talking about.
And it's really effed up right now.
Mm-hmm.
Me not realizing that, hey, we're like a week away or 2 weeks away from a strike, because they couldn't get into it. But I told him, I said, you know, it'll get better. And we were just talking because, you know, I was telling him, oh, yeah, you know, I got the film coming out. I was showing him. And they said, well, at least you're getting work. And I said, well, this was like during COVID. Like, this is finally coming out.
Right.
Like, we filmed this like before and during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, oh, okay. He was like, they were like, basically, like, everything is F right now. And they were just so defeated. And as an actor, like, right after the strike, I go to this database where I put in for gigs for other acting, you know, other acting jobs, television, film, and normally they'll have stuff right away. And the industry of late, they haven't had anything unless you're fully union. Like, I'm one step away from being in union, but unless you're fully union, even then, the work has been lately in the industry overall has been very minimum since the strike, and same with the writers and all. And they've been talking about it's been talked about more and more that Hollywood's going down in flames,
right?
You know, and unless, like, they don't want to take chances, you have, you know, it's not that they have bad writers, it's that no one wants to take a chance on independent thought, where, you know, you have an idea that, you know, right now, and as much as I love superhero movies and whatever is going to make money, they're going to try to milk it for all it's worth. They don't care. They don't care if it's bad or good. Like unless they're starting to lose money, and then that's when they care again. And then that's when they're like, oh, we gotta. But you notice in the streaming industry, a lot of these, like Paramount, Apple, are starting to go under because they can't keep up. The business models are wrong. It's the same with the video game industry. They're cutting corners. And look at the quality of games we've been getting. Think about it. And yet they want to and we just talked about this earlier, they want to overcharge us. They want to shortcut it by not making high products, so they're going to make digital. If you do go digital, we're going to overprice you by charging you a day or two in advance to play. You're getting charged an extra $50 or $60 or $20, or if you get in order for you to get this particular full game, you got to pay $100 for a full game. Where, again, you have, when games first came out, you had $40 plus you had the physical copy.
Yeah.
Plus you had the DLC, and they didn't charge you arm and a leg. And what they're doing to the actors, whether it's mocap, whether it's voicing, I think is a travesty. AI, really positive things, but what they're trying to do is they're trying to bastardize it.
Yeah.
And use it for, these companies are like, how can we make more money? Yeah, without, oh well, this way we can use an excuse saying, well, we don't want to burn out our actors, so we'll use AI as the buffer and all this. And they put it out there first, and they test the waters, and we tested it on here, we tested it on there. Ooh, wait a second. You mean we can get like Civ said, we get more productivity and less grief, and we don't have to put out as much money? Hey, maybe we should start. And what's happening is people are like, no, you're not going to do this. No. But it's unfortunate too. People that are in the industry, a lot of actors now are looking for other work. They've been talking about this. They've been talking about how a lot of them are like looking in different careers because the work is not there.
Yeah.
And just to be
and
clear,
so the game industry.
I'm not going to name any names or anything. I know the person you're talking to. Just for reference, the audience should know. This person's a Hollywood legend.
Yeah, right.
I mean, they should not have the problems that they're facing, and they're exquisitely talented, amazingly gregarious. They've mastered the craft. They've been around forever doing this kind of thing, and for them to all of a sudden, be replaced by what essentially is a computer, it really hurts. It really sucks.
Well, it's not just that person.
No, I know, but that's part of it.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying not to tell people that this person does a lot of voice work specifically. The voice work aspect is what's leading us down the road to this current strike situation.
Right.
SAG-AFTRA specifically. So that's why it's all that full circle.
Yeah, but see, it's all connected because again, when I think of voice acting, I think, okay, my fellow actors, fellow brothers and sisters in the acting community. So when it's all connected, regardless of they're doing video games or regardless if they're doing voiceover for a movie or whatever, or for commercial use, they could be doing something for a commercial that deals with video games, but they can't be. And again, it's a vicious web. It's a vicious web, vicious rabbit hole. But the unfortunate is, you got to pay your people to get the top quality that you need.
Yeah.
And I think AI is a shortcut. It's a way of trying to not pay your people right. The quality will show. And even though sometimes I find it funny that, again, if you utilize to me, AI is a tool. But like any tool, when you use it in an abusive way, you're not going to take an axe when you know you're supposed to use it on a tree, or a chainsaw when you know you're supposed to use it for things that you need, and you're not going to go out here and start cutting up people with a chainsaw or an axe. And that's the thing. People are certain companies are abusing that and saying, well, how can we exploit this? How can we make money? And cut the middle people out, which are the actors for video games. And again, we're seeing it right now in our daily lives. We're seeing it going on. From the quality of the games we get back, they just put out this and here's the thing. They think that the masses are stupid. Well, some of them are, but they think a lot of the video game gamers are stupid. We know the difference between a voice actor or an actor doing voiceover work versus an AI voice. And people have gone on record and talked about this on different podcasts. They're like, yo, they're using voice, or they're using AI. They're not using the actual actor to do the voice. They're using AI. How's it that other people are picking up on this without, again, you could tell the difference.
Right.
I've never seen an AI program that runs seamlessly, where it sounds perfect, where it doesn't sound choppy. It doesn't sound like you put this word and that word and this word together and saying, I'm going to go to the store, blah, 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 blah. There's no soul to it.
Yeah.
Actors, when they do these video games, they bring their soul into it. They put their soul into it. And that's what brings these characters to life. These beloved characters that we love, whether it's Gears of War, Red Dead Redemption, Tomb Raider, Indiana Jones, you can see that the actors put their love into those characters. Why would you want something that has no soul?
Yeah.
Telling you a story in a game? Why? It's to me, it's asinine, and I support SAG 100%. Especially my fellow actors in the video game industry.
Facts.
I just think that the industry needs to get their together and really come to a Jesus moment and start taking care of their people correctly.
Yeah, facts. Here's a question that just popped up, and they told me not to put this name out there real quick, but this is a question directed to y'all. So with the video game voice actor strike, I was considering not streaming games, or maybe just not streaming certain games. I'm unsure how to show support, but I like to.
Best thing you can do, and I'll say this. I don't think that you have to suffer to support a good cause. You don't have to just continue doing things that you enjoy and products that you enjoy and things that doesn't really show as much support as simply maybe just in your social media, share a story. Share the fact that like the Associated Press, they were the first ones who reported this story the other day. It means a lot to just get word out there from a reputable source to say, hey, this thing's going on. Talk to other gamers. Be like, hey, whether you like it or not, this kind of activity from people who don't compensate the actors, they really threaten what it is that we love. Maybe just put like a little message when you're streaming games, when you're live streaming, just say, hey, wasn't this a really great job, that Nolan North did doing this character in this game. If you really love their work and want to show support, go to the SAG-AFTRA website, get educated about what the issues are right now with the current strike situation, and maybe on their social media they'll have ways that you can support them. And there's a million things you can do. I think really the best thing is just to listen. When these people are on the picket line and they have families to support, they have to look after their own. Listen to their stories, go on their sites, and when they share something out, just give it a like, talk to them, reach out, say, hey, I saw you were on strike, message them, say, hey, just want you to know I support what you're doing. Is there a way I can get involved? There's a lot of different ways. Right now, I think the best thing to do would be just to understand that ultimately, and this is just my opinion, I think that it's going to work out in their benefit. Last year we had the SAG actor strike in Hollywood, and we also had the writer's strike, and both of those turned out for the benefit of those people who were striking. They ultimately will win. They ultimately have to win, because the precedent right now for failure being set is so egregious that loss is unacceptable.
Yeah.
It cannot be lost. Failure is literally not an option.
Right.
So they are going to have to meet their demands. They're going to have to do it fairly, and they're going to have to do it quickly, because right now there are a lot of big ticket games. This has not been, let's call it what it is. This has not been a great year for games.
Yeah.
Last year was an exceptional year for games. One of the best of all time.
It's been mediocre. You're right. Yeah.
And this year it's fallen off, but for a number of reasons, not just like the games that you play, but just some of the stuff you hear, like, there are issues with hardware. There's issues with, bad when I say bad actors, I don't mean like voice actors. I mean bad people in the industry who are doing things to get away with stuff. There have been layoffs. There have been, misconduct reports left and right. There's been, all these different, initiatives to basically subvert video game developers. This stuff, and it's not going to fly. There's way too much negativity right now in this industry, and where it goes from here is largely dependent on people who, within these unionized groups, can get a foothold and say, hey, no more. Now, it can be a literal union like SAG, or it can be buyers such as us who say, maybe I'll just hold off on like pre-ordering that game right now.
Yeah.
I want to see. I'm not going to put any more money in your freaking pocket preemptively based upon these things that you say might happen someday down the road. Like they're talking right now, there might be a day where entire games are created by AI. No, it's bullshit, man. That cannot happen.
Yeah.
We're going to see movies and music and everything. AI. I'm not here to listen to computers, man. I don't want to feed in an algorithm and spit out soulless nonsense like what Smoke said.
Yeah.
Come on. at some point, aren't we contributing to our own obsolescence when we have no more dignity, when we have no more need to feel that human aspect to the things we create? Are we really that numb?
Yeah, yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah, I can't stare into the abyss of a soulless eye who had nothing to do, with the creation of itself, and that seems so bad to me. And I'm like, if that would be worse than having to go to a strictly all streaming video game platform. You want to talk about something worse than that?
Yeah,
It would be
that part.
That
You're
would be
right.
the
That
thing.
part. Yep.
So bad.
Yeah.
That's the end game right there.
Yeah, I agree with in chat. Razortooth on Twitch says I don't even enjoy AI narrated YouTube videos. I can't imagine using that over a voice actor over a monetized project, which is true. You know what I mean? Like it's so freaking weird. Yeah, even though they will use that data. Let's say, for instance, they get Nolan North's voice, they keep that as data. You know what I'm saying? His likeness and all that stuff, but they can't perfect the emotion of Nolan North, like right at that point. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't have a soul, as I said before. It
Yep,
doesn't have a soul.
AI can't do that. You're
But even
right.
beyond that, I think the one thing that we haven't really talked about as much is just the ownership of your own voice. Whether it sounds exactly like you or it doesn't is kind of almost a secondary point to the fact that you own yourself.
Yeah.
You know who taught me that? I know Smoke will remember this. I learned this lesson back in the day when Prince changed his name to the symbol, because I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. Some people know this story and some don't, but the whole purpose behind him doing that was over ownership rights of his own music. Basically, Warner Brothers he had a crappy record deal and it sucked, and they owned everything he made, and they wanted to own more, and they wanted to own more, and they wanted to own more. And finally, he just got fed up, and he really became a very unsung, staunch advocate of owning your own creations. And it worked out for the best, worked out for him, and it worked out for a lot of other people in the record industry. But it took someone like him and others to follow suit to say, hey, like, this is ridiculous. I wrote the song and I performed it. Now I don't own it. Thanks. Great. Well, why am I even doing this then? It's ridiculousness. So yeah, I think you got to own your own creations. You have to take ownership and feel like that ownership is going to be respected, in perpetuity.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, like I said, it's good that these, these voice actors, actresses, and all, and the mocap artists are standing up right now. You know what I mean, which is great. And on a positive note as well too, it's good that a lot of these video game industries are the workers are now unionizing. We talked about that earlier as well too. But there's been more updates that we see from this year of union companies, man. As far as we can see right now, Activision is already taking part of their QA workers unionizing. We talked about Blizzard. We talked about Bethesda. Bethesda's new one, which is surprising. I was like, that's great.
I was surprised by that.
Great.
And if Bethesda can do it, anyone can.
I was like, I love Bethesda.
I would have put money on them being one of the last ones.
Yes,
and they were like one of the first. I was like, yeah, go. Anything's possible now. They opened up the can of worms. So like, okay, let's see where this thing goes.
They did. So with Bethesda doing that, I was like, applause, man, for real. They did a great job of opening to.
But the next one that needs to do it is a Sony owned third party company like Naughty Dog.
Yes.
I'm putting out the challenge, because if Naughty Dog would be like my second to the last, most likely. Them and frankly Gearbox too. I know they're not Sony owned, but Gearbox would be one to be like, can you guys please like show them how it's done, man? Get in there. But Naughty Dog, you got to fight your own reputation sometimes. You got to fight your own ghosts. And I think exactly. So it's like they probably should be the ones to lead the way in that regard.
Yeah, and it's a lot of other, like I said, a lot of other companies. I'm gonna get this from Polygon as well too. There's a lot of companies that are behind this, behind unionizing as well too. Even though it's been a big fight, left and right, man. You got, ZeniMax, you got CD Projekt Red, Avalanche Studios, World of Warcraft team. I'm trying to think. Of course, we talked about Sega, as well too, being a front, and then. There's a lot of companies, man. Corsair Gaming is doing that as well too. Keywork Studios, Paizo, dude. There's so many of these companies, man, that are really into, like, you know what? Yeah, I'm with unionizing our workers, man. So, and Bethesda being now the pillar of it all, along with Activision, this is going to be a big stepping stone. We can see probably down the line. Like I said, let's put the challenge out to these other companies, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what happens down the line. You know what I mean? So kind of a positive note, as we can see here, with the video game industry as well too for working. So big ups to them. Big ups to them. The same weekend, we've enjoyed a very amazing event called Evo. I don't know if you ever seen a lot of the Evo moments as well too. Big fighting game, convention as well. Shout out to well, first of all, one of the highlights of Evo, man. Shout out to Punk, man, who won in Street Fighter. He's from Philly, so that's a big win for Philly. For Punk, man. Of course, and that's why I had to wear this Cammy shirt, man, because now Cammy's the biggest, champion for Evo. You know what I mean? But along with that, there was some big announcements for Evo as well too. One was Tekken 8, of course, and I knew this was going to be a thing where Heihachi is coming back to Tekken 8.
Somehow Heihachi survived.
How in the world? Dude, let me tell you something, man. You got this is insane. And I want to point this out, man. We're gonna look at this real quick. Because Heihachi is so freaking weird. How Heihachi, this is so insane. So what, is he dead? Is he come back to life? Is he resurrected? They're doing the same thing with M. Bison, like, yo, like how many times you can't, I guess, can you kill like the last boss of a game? Can he be like, finally dead? You know what I mean? Heihachi's coming back, people. This is awesome. This is pure awesome, man. I mean, like I said, I knew you're not going to, stop Heihachi.
Well, I'm going to tell you, nobody was surprised.
Yeah, nobody was, man.
In every fighting game franchise, you can't kill off the main bad guy anytime soon.
Plus, he's popular.
Right.
Shang Tsung, or it's Rugal, or it's Howard Geese, or Bison. These guys are perennial now. They're locked in. They're not going anywhere. So this whole idea of killing off the main bad guy, come on, nobody's buying it.
Right, it's so freaking weird. I'm
gonna totally tell you something that's gonna sound really weird coming from me because I'm a big fighting game fan. But
yeah,
I think like when fighting games really tried to adopt deeper storytelling is when they kind of started ruining fighting games. It's like I don't need that much story behind my fighting game. I just need people to scrap. Like I didn't play Street Fighter 2 on day one and go, I'm ready to play this. This looks really cool. But I wonder what E Honda's story is. What's his backstory? What's his motivation?
Well, he's a sushi dealer. Don't you like that, Beckham?
I know, but I don't really care. But I don't really. I'm going to tell you something. I don't really care. It's not. It's so secondary to everything else.
But
the idea of like taking out a character because it's not canon anymore, or it's just a fighting game, man. Yeah, but you don't have to be a slave to the story.
But Jeez. you don't like Ryu looking for the purpose of his life, walking the world and all that too, trying to figure out what he wants to do. You know what I mean? Or Ken doing it for his wife, Eliza, or is Elise? I think it's Eliza. I forgot his wife's name. Yeah. So yeah, like you don't like the connecting story to that. It's so awesome, man. Like it makes you want to fight for
if we really cared about that kind of stuff, Sagat wouldn't be screwed over every single time.
How about that? Yeah.
Decides to make a new Street Fighter game. He should never be. He should never be DLC, and he should never be like one of those ones they release later on. He should be in every single pack day one. He's one of the first characters, and they always screw around with adding them or not adding them. So I know I'm partial because that's my dude, but it does seem stupid. Like, come on, like M. Bison wasn't going to be in a Street Fighter game. And was anybody buying that? Did anybody really think M. Bison wasn't going to be in the game?
I mean, yeah, I get that. I
already knew he was coming. And Sagat is next. Sagat is next. You already
He's coming. It's coming, but I don't know why they have to do this because
it's the anticipation. It's the hype.
Cash grab. It's
man. The hype of it.
I don't need any more hype. I don't need any more excitement. I just want to play with the video game character I really like.
What I would do, like let's say if I was Capcom, if I was like a Street Fighter team or something like that, is I would put away Ryu for 2 titles, right, and say Ryu is meditating, and
you take him out, and it was. So many people love it because he's the character. You can't.
Yeah, but like to add the story, like he's meditating. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to. You know what I mean? And you get to play these other characters like Alex and.
Well, they try to make other main characters.
Right?
Like Luke was the main character of the last one, and then what's his name? The Arabian dude.
Chat will know.
The oh my god!
I know you're talking about.
I'm so mad. Like what? I know Street Fighter V wasn't spectacular, but I should at least remember their names. What's his name?
His name is
I want to say Aziz Ansari, but that's the comedian, right? Isn't that? What's the guy's name? What's his name? Hold on, I'm so mad at myself. Wait, I'm googling it. I'm googling it.
There we go. We're gonna look at
Street Fighter, Arabian character. Rashid. Yes.
There we go. There you go.
I said Aziz.
He says Aziz.
I know
I'm
it's
sorry.
not Aziz.
Aziz,
oh
I'm
my
sorry.
God.
Dude, I can't, man. Yo.
Aziz, I'm sorry. The Street Fighter character. I'm an idiot. Anyway,
but yeah. So that was one of the announcements. The other announcement, of course, we talked about Street Fighter, was of course they did the trailer for Terry, man, which is great. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm happy that Terry Bogard, from Fatal Fury is coming back, man. Or actually coming to Street Fighter Realm. You know what I'm saying? Because why not? You know what I mean? Like Terry is.
Look at him closely though. Doesn't he look like Dolph Lundgren?
Okay.
Look at his face. No, just wait.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. When I saw this trailer, I was like, "Hey, it's Dolph Lundgren."
What, he put the likeness of Dolph Lundgren? Man? Yeah.
Look at the face. It's Dolph. I'm telling you.
Like a young Dolph Lundgren. Yeah, I get you.
Look at this. Look, even the smirk.
Yeah.
He's got the Dolph smirk. I must break you. He is like hitting a piece of iron. It does look dope, though. It does look cool. I'm pretty hyped for it.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, man.
But keep watching. Keep watching. Look at his face, though.
Yeah, like who doesn't love Terry, man? Somebody told me that guy he punched, man, is the guy from the
Look at him.
The Street. Yeah, he does. Yeah. You cannot see it now. You cannot see it now, man.
Yeah, it's definitely Dolph Lundgren.
God darn you, man. Now I cannot see it, man. God darn. Well, he's coming in autumn. You know what I mean? So get ready for that for those that are Street Fighter fanatics, man. So there you go. The funny thing is, man, they said that the guy he punched, man, is the same guy from the Street Fighter 2. They gotta stop using that meme with the guy that got punched.
Scott and Max.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I was like, that's not the same guy.
That's their names. Did
yeah,
you know
that's I didn't know that.
Scott. The white guy that punches the black guy.
That's a trivia. That's a trivia.
It is. Scott and Max. They have names.
Yeah. When was this confirmed? Really?
Swear to God. I swear to God.
Yo,
this is I got some deep cut trivia. Of course, I can't name Rashid playing the game, but I know Scott and Max. I don't know why.
Hey, chat. Remember that fun fact. Whenever you are a panel, we got to put that trivia question out there.
You guys can fact check that on me right now.
Yeah.
That's their name.
Just remember that we might bring that question out later on to win prizes, and if you don't remember that, cuz then you're SOL. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Oh, but that. Listen, that's gonna be because I want to really talk a lot, man. But we're gonna save that for the next show. That's gonna be it. We're gonna hold it for now, man. We'll do a big F in the chat for our boy Frankie, man, whose power is out, who couldn't get back in, man. So we might bring Frankie back in a later episode for sure. He's always been a friend of the show. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna definitely bring him back in. So Frankie, if you're watching, we love you, man. Hopefully you're not in the dark no more.
His power's probably still out. That's why.
Right.
It is off.
It's off. Yeah.
He sent me this really long explanation as to why it's happened.
Yeah, the phone machine. I don't know how that works.
Pictures. It's hilarious. It's a whole story that he's gonna have to tell next time he's on here.
Yeah.
And he's like, nobody's gonna believe what he just went through. Yeah, it's a whole thing going on at his place right now. So
yeah. That's right. Frankie's watching. Frankie, we love you, man. We'll see you the next hopefully in a future episode for sure. You always been a friend of the show. So you're welcome back anytime.
Sure.
Absolutely. But for now, man, we're gonna end it right there. But before we end it, of course, you already know what we're gonna do, man. We're gonna go through the credits as well too. Listen, you already know, man. And if you enjoyed this episode, definitely go ahead and share the episode to your buddies as well too. Definitely jump into our website on Facebook, PTC Gaming Show Pass Controller, on every social media, including our email address, ptcgamingShow@gmail.com. If you want to throw in some questions at us, our Twitter would be better as well too. I get notifications on Twitter. Everything PTC Gaming Show, and we have a site just for you called PTC Nation. You can look at that in our main Pass Controller page. We have an icon for PTC Nation. PTC Nation is a community of gamers, nothing but gamers, man. They want to link up with other people. Anything. You want to put highlights of video games, you want to put your biggest accomplishments, whatever it is, throw it on PTC Nation. That way we can all pass the controller together. That's going to be it, man. I don't know what you guys, we forgot what we've been playing, but we'll talk about that next time. Man, next time. I don't know what y'all going to be playing after this, man. What y'all gonna be playing anyway, man? I want to know.
So did you know that there is DLC for Thunder Ray?
Are you serious?
Yep.
There's more fighters now for Thunder Ray. I looked last night.
I'm going to buy it.
Already
get on it.
I am going to buy it right after this, man.
Get on it because it's worth it. That's the game that's for people that don't know. Thunder Ray is basically like a Punch Out ripoff, but it's a really good Punch Out.
Oh, dude,
it's a Punch Out ripoff combining Punch Out and Dragon Ball and every other hype.
It's way over the top.
Yeah,
it's very,
over the
very
top.
fun.
I might stream that chat. Look, get Thunder Ray right now.
Man.
Like seriously, that is going to be it. All right. So with that being the case, of course, for Smoke, for Civic, I am McNux. This is Pass Controller, and as always, people, get good.
Peace and hair grease, y'all. Peace and hair grease.
Ass out. Yeah, I'll hit him. I'll let him know. He felt really bad. All right, so a couple things